Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another Q&A video leading up to the release of The Walking Dead Ones Who Live and just the rest of the Walking Dead franchise. We're going to discuss the potential of Rick asking Negan for help against the CRM in New York. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video we're going to be doing our weekly Walking Dead universe Q&A video for this week. Figured we'd get it done today. Tuesday seemed like a good day to go ahead and do it. Plus, because you guys left a lot of really awesome Q&A comments and questions, make sure to continue to leave them, because every week I like to do Walking Dead universe Q&A videos, of course, as long as we get enough questions from you guys, which you guys have been killing it with the questions, so I think we're going to be pretty much covered until, midways through February, when we start getting Ones Who Live stuff, released, and then we'll start doing Ones Who Live Q&As and stuff. I think probably like early February, you can expect the Q&As to just fully be about Ones Who Live. But at least for like this month, the rest of December and January, we'll leave it to just the franchise, and then we'll probably turn it into just Ones Who Live Q&As leading up to the big show, That's what I'm thinking of doing, at least. So, anyway, let's get into these Q&A comments. First one comes from Mitchie, who says that, Dan, do you think in any way, shape, or form that this crossover event is going to be like an all-out war type of situation? Also, do you think it's a little bit weird that the Daryl Dixon series is airing a season 2 before Dead City? And I know there are filming, problems and stuff with, the shutdown, but do you think there's a reason why we're getting Daryl season 2 before Dead City? So maybe like on purpose. Also, do you think, Dan, that Rick will go to Negan, old school Negan, for help against the CRM? So do you think we'll get Rick and Negan teaming up to take down the CRM, basically is what he's saying. So, okay, now, in terms of the shows, so yes, I do think it's going to be like an all-out war type of situation, although I think it's going to be a lot better than the TV show adaptation of All Out War. And I do think that we are definitely going to see some kind of reason why Daryl is before Dead City, yeah. Because we just got Daryl Season 1, and we got Dead City earlier this year. You would think that Dead City would be first, and then Daryl Season 2. So, yes, I do think there's a reason for that. Like I said before, I think the Daryl Dixon show is going to definitely have a lot of connections into this crossover series. Dead City kind of feels more so of like a standalone type of thing with Negan and Maggie, where the Daryl show is actually giving us stuff on variants, it's giving stuff on zombies, it's giving us more knowledge on things, going on. Also, not to mention, if Rick is back, necessarily, that would be awesome, because then Carol could relay that information to Daryl, which is definitely the hope, right? That'd be awesome if that's something that is kind of, dropped in Season 2, is that Daryl gets knowledge that Rick is alive, first of all. Second off, that, he's back home and he's waiting for him. I think that'd be awesome. Now, whether or not Rick will go to Dead City to go see Negan. Now, in terms of this, I think this would be amazing if they did that as like a final season of Dead City, you know what I mean? You get the Ones Who Live, which is kind of like, the stuff going on there. Daryl ends up making it back home within the end of the Daryl show, whether that's like season 4 or season 5 or how many seasons they do for the Daryl show. They make it back, and then Rick is like, okay, look, the Commonwealth is at risk. There's a group called the CRM that is going to try to kill us. We need other allies, right? Almost like the March to War, almost like the 7B of the main show when they were trying to find groups to help them fight the Saviors. Wouldn't that be the best thing ever? Is, if now Rick finds out that, he's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Maggie. I'm going to go get an army, and he goes to see Maggie. They have like a reunion, and then he finds out that Negan is running an entire empire out in friggin' New York City. Negan would help Rick. I know he would, and that would be such an amazing team up. I think that'd be great. Like Rick finds out about Maggie being set up nearby New York City because Carol and them know, that Maggie and them had to relocate. Rick takes a trip down there, goes to see Maggie, and then Maggie tells him, hey, look, Negan's running things in the city. Like, that would be pretty insane, right? And obviously, we'll get more seasons of Dead City to where we could actually link that type of thing up. But I think if they do it right, that'd be really good. Like, imagine Rick going to see Negan, and like, maybe like the Barazi are kind of like not so sure about Rick, that maybe they even tackle him down to the ground and stuff. And then, Negan's just like, holy shit, and he sees Rick again. I mean, that would be so damn good. And you got like a scene where like Rick and Negan are like talking in like this office, maybe they're like sharing a glass of whiskey, and Rick's giving him the down low of like what Major General Beale does to people and stuff, talking about, wiping out colleges and wiping out like a campus colony and stuff. And, Negan's just like, well, we gotta change that shit now, do we? Like, and he kind of gets that charm back. I think that'd be so damn good. Honestly, just that question gets me so excited for something that they could do. So let me know, am I crazy, or would that be like the dopest thing ever? Like, that would be the greatest thing ever. Negan joins the Commonwealth, and he is, an ally with Rick and them to take down the CRM in the crossover event or something like that. I think that'd be so good. I would love that. Is it, a bit out there? Sure, but it's not impossible. You can't tell me it's impossible. So that would be awesome. That would actually be really, really amazing. Because here's the thing, Rick may not like Negan, but at the same time, he needs people, like the CRM completely outnumber the Commonwealth. So if things go down that way, I would love it. I think that'd be absolutely amazing, but maybe that's just me. Next one comes from Father Daniel, who says, the question for you, Dan, after Rick and the CRM stuff is all done in The Ones Who Live, and potentially these 6 episodes is the end of Rick Grimes, and he puts, like a side note, I highly doubt it's the end of Rick Grimes, but Dan, do you think after seeing the CRM, do you think it's going to make it a little bit of kind of like a I don't care type of scenario with Dead City and Daryl now that the CRM will be out of the picture, and we'll have to just go back to Daryl in France and, Maggie and Negan in New York without the bigger picture, right? So basically what he's saying is that, do you think that with CRM being gone after The Ones Who Live, for a little bit at least, until we probably get this crossover, do you think it's going to make Dead City and Daryl kind of useless feeling, No, in the condition of at least if Scott Gimple tells us that when these shows end, it will lead to the crossover event. You know what I mean? Because at that point, I'll be more patient. I'll be more willing to watch Dead City and Daryl. Whereas, I feel like the crossover is what's going to make that matter, because if Rick's just gone and the CRM is still a threat, and then we get off of it for a few years, go back to New York and go back to France and all that, yeah, it's definitely going to feel a little bit disjointed and a bit like, okay, there's bigger fish to fry, So I definitely hope that at the very least, and in my opinion, the way you solve it is that Rick appears in season 3 of Daryl Dixon. In my opinion, that's how you fix that. Because then Rick is there, and it's going to be like, oh, okay, so, he's going to go here, and then you're going to set up for something, and then the crossover show will happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you make, at least the Daryl show, matter. And it'll make me more patient with Dead City, too. If, at some point, Rick goes to New York for, help against the CRM and teams up with Negan, right? There is your purpose for Dead City. There is your purpose for Daryl Dixon. There is your purpose for all of it to come together. It's very, very easy to do. But if they don't do that, then, yeah, Dead City and Daryl will feel kind of just there, They're good shows, but they'll just feel like, they're kind of just there. Next one comes from John, who says, Dan, I'm actually very curious. What is your favorite Walking Dead media? The main show, the spin-offs, the comic book, the game, etc. Well, obviously, I mean, the first thing that came out was the comic book, so I got a lot of respect to these. But here's the thing. I mean, the comic books are awesome, but they're not my favorite. Like, I love them. But I'd say comic books are second. My favorite is definitely the show, the main Walking Dead show. Then it'd be the comic books, just because they're, near and dear to my heart. So I'd say TV show, main Walking Dead, 11 seasons. That's my favorite. Then I would say, yeah, comic books. Then I'd go, oh man, but you got Fear in there. And Tales and all that. Yeah, no, then I'd go Telltale. Then I'd go the Telltale games. Then I'll go spin-offs, because you do have Dead City and Daryl to consider, but I just think Telltale has more to it, because you do still have Fear and you have Tales and, World Beyond. You have some bad spin-offs too, so but then I like Dead City and I like Daryl, and Ones Who Live will probably be good. So yeah, I'd say in order it would probably be main TV show, then the comic books, then Telltale games, and then I would say the spin-offs. But again, If Ones Who Live's really amazing, it could outdo Telltale for me, but that I'm gonna have to see. And then yeah, and then like final would be like, you know, Clem Comics and like all that other bullshit. But that falls into comics anyway. So yeah, I would definitely say that in terms of, you know, Walking Dead media, that's how I would kind of rank it. Something like that. Next one comes from Mass Ninja, who says that, Dan, do you think we will see Rick in the darkest space we've ever seen him before? Meaning that, do you think he may even be more, you know, trigger happy and more screwed up than the season 5 bearded Rick from the main show? Do you think this might be taking that to another level in The Ones Who Live? I don't know if it's gonna, well, you know, I think it's gonna be close. I'm not gonna lie, based off of how Gimple has been wording it, saying that the red machete type of Rick is, you know, returning in this, which is hype on its own right there. But here's the thing. What would make him more dark and crazy and just out there, and I've heard a lot of people say this theory as well, is that what if there's a scenario where you see, you know, the CRM prisoners, right? And they're lined up like that. And Rick is handcuffed on his left hand, right? Which a lot of people have been discussing. Will he lose his left hand? You know, it kind of looks like it, you know, stuff like that. If that's the case, what if this fucker chops his goddamn left hand off just to get a chance to run away? I know it sounds insane, but that would be gangster as shit. I mean, that would be gangster as a motherfucker. I don't know if they'll go that far with it, if Rick will chop his own hand off to get out of the cuffs to get out. But I mean, that'd be insane. Because I know a lot of people have been saying, like, they've been hiding his left hand from us for a long time, which is very weird. If that's the shit that he does, I will actually say that's more gangster than season 5. That would be insane. But at least to that level, probably pretty close. Yeah, guaranteed. And the last one comes from Jess, who says that, Dan, do you think that The Ones Who Live should have released before the other spin-offs? I'm talking Dead City and Daryl Dixon. In terms of deserving, yes, because I think we've been waiting a lot longer for Rick than we have to see Maggie and Negan again and Daryl again, you know? But here's what I'll say, is that Ones Who Live, in terms of just, like, I actually do like that it's the last one. Call me nuts. Like, I didn't like it before. Now I actually do, now that I've seen it play out. Because, let's be honest here, if we watched Ones Who Live, and then you go to, like, Dead City and Daryl, no offense to them, they're really good shows. But you kind of be like, nah, I'll get around to it. You know what I mean? Now you're like, okay, I'm watching Dead City, I'm watching Daryl, it's building up, it's getting to the big show, you know? And then the big final product is The Ones Who Live. It does work marketing-wise, and I do like how they did it, I'll say. And I wouldn't really change it, to be honest. I think Ones Who Live belongs in the that's the one we've been waiting for type of position. You know what I mean? So, as long as it pays off, of course, and as long as it's the best spinoff, I do expect it to be the best one out of these three. Then I think it was a good idea, for sure. So anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about all this stuff? Rick going to New York to ask Negan for help at some point. Do you think we'll ever see that? Let me know. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos of The Walking Dead universe. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos of The Walking Dead franchise. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.